Today we're going to get into some more factoring. We're going to work through additional examples just so that you can perfect this practice. Before we do any word problems, I want us to be able to factor very well. So first we're going to address some of the things that we can figure out based on the signs. In general, anytime we see a quadratic that's a trinomial, that tells us that when we break it up, it is going to be two sets of parentheses. If there's no number in front of the k squared, it's always just going to be k and k. Now, based on these two signs, I can figure out what my next ones are going to be. If this is a positive at the end, and this is a negative in the middle, that tells me that both of these are going to be minuses. But what if that was a negative at the end, say k squared minus 7k minus 6 equals 0. If this is a negative at the end, anytime it's a negative, it could even be k squared plus 7k plus 6 equals 0. Plus 7k minus 6 equals 0. Anytime it's a negative at the end, it tells us that one of our signs is going to be a plus and one is going to be a minus. Lastly, if they're both pluses, k squared plus 7k plus 6, it tells us that both of our signs inside are going to be pluses. So just by looking at these signs, I can tell exactly what my format of the problem is going to be like. Okay, so now we need to figure out what multiplies to give us 6. What multiplies to give us 6? That could be 2 and 3 or 6 and 1. Now add them together. 2 plus 3 is 5, which is not 7. 6 plus 1 is 7. So this is a minus 6 and a minus 1. Now I break my two sets of parentheses up. K minus 6 equals 0. K minus 1 equals 0. Solve for k. That gives me k equals 6 and k equals 1. Plug those in. 6 squared minus 7 times 6 plus 6. 6 squared is 36. Negative 7 times 6 is negative 42. 36 minus 42 is negative 6. Plus 6 equals 0. So that's correct. Let's try k equals 1. 1 squared is 1. Minus 7 times 1 gives us negative 6. Plus 6 is 0. These are my two roots, or zeros. Let's look at number 2. I have a minus and a plus. Remember, if it's a plus at the end and a minus in the middle, it tells me that these are both going to be subtraction. Now, what multiplies to give me 15? Well, there's 15 and 1, but 15 plus 1 is not 8. 15 minus 1 is not 8. Let's try 3 and 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. I know that it's a minus and a minus, so it's 3 and 5. That's equal to 0. Break them up. A minus 3 equals 0. A minus 5 equals 0. So A equals 3 and A equals 5. Those are my two roots. Plug them in. 3 squared is 9. 8 times 3 is 24. 9 minus 24 is negative 15. Plus 15 is 0. Plug the 5 in. 5 squared is 25. 8 times 5 is 40. So I have 25 minus 40, that's negative 15, plus 15 is 0. I have the right to. Number 3, it's a plus and a minus. That tells us that it's going to be a minus and a minus. What multiplies to give me 21? That would be 7 and 3 and 21 and 1. 21 minus 1 gives me 20, which is not negative 10. 21 plus 1 is 22. Still not going to work. 7 plus 3 is 10. Set it equal to 0. A equals 7. A equals 3. Plug that in. 7 squared is 49. 10 times 7 is 70. 49 minus 70, negative 21 plus 21 is 0. Plug the 3 in. 3 squared is 9. 10 times 3 is 30. 9 minus 30 is negative 21. Plus 21 is 0. At some point, we can just stop checking these. Now I have a minus and a plus. That tells me that it's going to be a minus and a plus. Now let's think of things that multiply to give us 12. 12 and 1. There's 6 and 2. There's 3 and 4. If these signs are opposite, it means that we're going to subtract these numbers. 12 minus 1 gives me 11. 6 minus 2 gives me 4. I don't know why I put a 7 here. It's kind of weird. 6 minus 2 gives me 4. Now it depends on what this 4 is. The 4 is positive, so the bigger number goes with the plus. If I had put, I'm going to put it in red because it's wrong, x minus 6 and x plus 2. When I add these two together, negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. That's not a positive 4. So it really matters where it goes this time. It has to go with the plus if it's the bigger number. And this is positive. So x minus 2 equals 0. X plus 6 equals 0. X equals 2. X equals negative 6. If you don't show me this work, or at least this process, I can promise you're not getting points. Number 5. We're getting a little bigger numbers now. I have a minus and a minus. That tells me one of these has to be a plus and one of these has to be a minus. What multiplies to give us 28? That could be 14 and 2, could be 28 and 1, could be 4 and 7. These are opposite signs. One's a plus and one's a minus, so we know we're going to subtract. 28 minus 1 is 27, no good. 14 minus 2 is 12, no good. 7 minus 4 is 3. So if I did 7 and minus 4, that's 3. Right number, wrong sign. If you end up with the right number and the wrong sign, flip which one is negative. Minus 7 and positive 4. 4 minus 7 gives us negative 3. So I know the 7 goes with the minus, the 4 goes with the plus. Just like up here, we had a plus in the middle, so I knew the bigger number went with the plus. Down here, I have a minus in the middle, so the bigger number goes with the minus. Now we break it up and solve. Gives us r equals negative 4 and r equals 7. Number 6, b squared plus b minus 12 equals 0. Think about what multiplies to give you 12. 12 and 1, 6 and 2. I know it's going to be what in the middle here? It's a minus and then a plus in the middle. So that tells me that it's going to be a plus and a minus. 6 minus 2 is 4. 12 minus 1 is 11. If I do 4 minus 3, because 4 times 3 gives me 12, 4 minus 3 is positive 1, so it's going to be a positive 4 minus 3. Break it up, b plus 4 equals 0, b minus 3 equals 0, negative 4, and positive 3. Done. Okay. Here it's a plus and a plus. That tells me that this is going to be a plus and a plus. Think of things that multiply to give you 4. I have 4 and 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. I'm done already. Break them up. A plus 4 equals 0. A plus 1 equals 0. A equals negative 4. A equals negative 1. Last one. I have a minus and a minus. That tells me it's going to be a plus and a minus. B plus, B minus. What multiplies to give me 3? It can really only be 3 and 1. 3 minus 1 gives me 2. If I did 3 minus 1, that's 2. Right number, wrong sign. It means I put the 3 with the negative. 1 goes with the positive. Additionally, the middle number is negative, so that tells me the bigger number goes with the negative. Now it's b plus 1 equals 0. B minus 3 equals 0. B equals negative 1. And B equals 3. All right, I'm going to give you some more problems on this. Please come on the Google Meet if you don't understand. We're going to be looking at a quiz next week sometime. Some of you could really use a quiz grade to raise your score. Quizzes are not weighted the same as homework, so if you get a good grade on a quiz, it means more than getting a good grade on a homework. So let's make sure that we know what we're doing on these so that we get a good grade on the quiz. All right,